This is Benny P from Southern Cross Combat. I've always wanted to say that. I'm joined here with Joel from Southern Cross Combat, and we're here to talk about the fights we want to see made for the UFC Fight Night in Perth. But yeah, let's get into it. Joel, you're the man running the show here, so let's. Are you going to do your fights first?
Absolutely. So I am joined by the great Benny P. And if you don't know who Benny P is, you're lying. You do. He is the best of us. He is. If you've seen any fight news break about UFC fighters, I would say in Australia, but that's a lie because he breaks news about guys who are overseas too. Like you'll be like, I wonder what's going on. Like pre Jack Della winning the world title, you're like, I wonder what's going on in the welterweight division. And then Benny P's like, this is the fight, and you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But he is the man. I've been wanting to do a collab with him for a while. This is one of two. We're doing one on
Yes.
Southern Cross Combat, one on Benny P's channel, which we'll film like later. But Benny P's the man. And yeah, I thought it would be fun to do a bit of fantasy booking, is kind of what I'm referring to this as. We have both come up with a list of fights we want to see on the Perth card. And we're just going to kind of go fight for fight. I have 12. Benny has 15 because he is the overachiever that he is. And yeah, we're going to try to fantasy book for the UFC Perth September card. Nothing, the UFC haven't announced any fights, but Benny's the man in the know. He was telling me just before we started about one that has apparently been confirmed, which is on his list. It affects one of my bookings, so I'll change that like during the video. But so what are the quote unquote rules for this is that it's a fight night, so no title fights, and that's basically it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And it has
Yeah.
to be within reason, obviously. Like you can't have some it has to be a fight that's realistic. Like I was gonna put something like, Dan Hooker on here, but obviously he's not cleared until October, November. So
Mm.
it's got to be like fights that can realistically happen. Like that's pretty much it, I think.
That's the other one that I've got. There was fights I wanted to book, and then I checked it. I'm like, they're booked for July.
Yeah.
No. Or yeah, someone's not medically cleared. Uh, I was also trying to. Maybe we talk about this after. No, we'll talk about it now. How were you like when people were booked for like or had fought in like June? I'm like, oh, they fought in June. September's far enough away, but also motherfuckers only fight once a year. So I
Yeah.
was also like, ah. So there was a couple matchups I couldn't fantasy book. And then like Dan Hooker fights on pay-per-views. He's probably not going to fight on
Yeah.
a fight night, like stuff like that.
I've actually got someone who's fighting this weekend on my list because I think he's gonna get out of there without any damage done. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious what I'm talking about, but so I've got somebody who's fighting this weekend on this weekend's card on for the Perth card because I feel like August is should not August, sorry, September. He should be all right by September,
Yeah,
surely.
end of September.
Yeah.
So I reckon we go as I said, it's it's not an equal amount of fights. I've got 12, you've got 15. Have you split yours up? I've got like six on the prelims, six on the main card.
Yeah, yeah. I did six main card fights, and then I must have done about eight for the prelims.
Well, then we'll do. I reckon we just go. I'll say a fight, you say a fight, and we'll just go like do the groups of the prelims and then groups of the main
Yeah,
card.
so start from prelims upwards. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what I would have for the first fight of the night would be Khan Offley taking on Roberto Romero
Okay.
in
So
the
I've actually got Khan Offley on my first fight of the night too. Actually, interesting
dude.
enough.
That's they call it. Dude, he opens the night. He opens the show. Uh,
But oh wait, yeah. Are you going to explain what with the matchup and everything?
well,
Is
I
that
will explain like a little bit. I'm not going to put like heaps of detail in, but Khan, both guys are depending if you count the tough finale, because the other two tough fights don't count. But if you count the tough finale as a UFC fight, Khan Offley is either 0-2 or 0-1 in the UFC, depending on your perspective.
yeah?
Uh, excuse me. Roberto Romero is also 0-2 in the UFC. Khan, although he lost his last fight against Muhammad Naimov, I think he did put on a better performance than I think a lot of people were expecting. You know,
Definitely.
so I'd like to see him get another fight, and that last fight he had was in February, so he should be ready to go. And Roberto's last fight was in April, so yeah, they've got time to recover.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So I'll do my fight now.
Yes,
All
please.
right. And this one, I tried not to do too many of these, but this is actually a Anzac versus Anzac fight. So I've got Khan Offley versus I've got him versus George Mangos because I think George Mangos is going to win against Radley De Silva. I think he's going to get signed to the UFC, and I think they're going to put him right onto that Perth card. And who better than Khan Offley? Both UFC, both featherweights, both from Australia. One's Greek, one's Turkish. It's always a good fight when you got the Greeks versus the Turks. It works out. It's what would be a good fight to do that. You'll have the Greek fans from Greece. You'll have the Turks from Turkey fighting, and then you'll have the Aussie fans who will be going for both of them. Melbourne versus Sydney. It's perfect.
The story rights tell it on neutral ground in Perth.
Exactly. You won't
Dude,
know who you won't know who the crowd's going to be cheering for. I think it makes perfect sense. Don't think there's any beef there. I'm pretty sure they're cool, but I feel like it'd just be a good fight. Both have fought similar competition as well. So yeah, I think it makes sense.
this crop of contenders, I was also interested to be like, I didn't end up putting anyone from this season of contenders, but if anyone could do this, something like that, it's George Mangos. Like
Yeah. Week
he
one
is,
as well.
yeah, like he's the man. So he will probably like, yeah, he could probably turn around and make Perth. Uh, it hurts me so bad when it's Aussie versus Aussie or Aussie
Yeah,
versus
I've
New
only got
Zealander.
one other Aussie versus Aussie fight on here as well. So
I'd nearly booked one, but because of that, I was like, they've trained together as well. The people I was thinking of booking, and I was like, it's a bit too fantasy. That happens in the
yeah,
training room, maybe.
I know the
Uh,
exact fight that is as well.
I was gonna say maybe you've put it on your list.
No, so actually, I know you're talking Salkill versus Nolan, aren't you?
Yes, I am
Yeah,
absolutely talking Salkill
yeah.
versus
So I
Nolan.
actually didn't do that, but it is a lightweight fight, so that's a little teaser to
Oh,
for what it'll
cheeky.
be.
Moving up. Next for me, I also tried to. You know what was fun with this as well? I think it's maybe an insight. Maybe you've done the same thing because you had Offley as your first fight. I also tried to like put it in order of like this is how it should make sense based on where everyone kind of sits
Yeah, that's
and
what I
where
tried to do too.
yeah, like where they should be and like oh this guy's got some momentum, he should be here and that type of thing. Moving up, a fight that was meant to happen on Australian shores, it did not happen. That's another thing. I have to like you need to be like who would be okay with coming to Australia and
That,
losing half their purse?
that's exactly what I did as well. I did. There's a lot. This card could like this. I don't know. This card's gonna be hard to book because I've put a lot of Chinese fighters on here as well, and there's a
Yep,
Chinese card around the same time.
I'm like, the Chinese would come because they have before. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I saw this guy in Australia, so I know he's okay with making the flight.
Yeah, that's the exact same thing I did as well with my little bookings. I did.
This,
I just booked so many people from the East Asia, Southeast Asia region for these fights because I know that they're close to Australia and it's not too far of a trip to lose half of your pay to taxes.
yeah, it's so fun. It's so that if we were doing a fantasy booking for any other place, I bet we could just be like, what would be good fights? But we need to be like, oh, the geography of the region plus the economics. Like, oh, we're like writing on whiteboards and doing math.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I did. But yeah, so you said meant to be on Australian
Yes.
shores.
So this fight was meant to be on Australian shores last time. Unfortunately, it did not happen. I think one half of this fight is cleared to fight. Cody Haddon versus Alex Topuria.
Okay, sick fight, sick fight.
We were meant to get it. We were meant to get it, so I don't see why we can't get it again. Both the Topurias have come to Oz because Ilya came to corner his brother. So I know they're okay with making the flight and they're okay with the taxes. I think Cody was out of that fight because I think he broke his leg.
I don't think he broke. I think he well, I mean, is a fracture a break? I'm not
I
too
think
sure
it
the
is
difference. Okay,
technically.
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Then I think it was a fracture, right?
Yeah, so I would assume he's cleared now. I saw him. He's walking, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
So I would put that fight on. Cody is what 1-0 in the UFC. Alex is also now 1-0 in the UFC with a win over Colby Thickness. As I said in February of this year. Give us that fight, please. I would like to see it. I don't want that fight to go away. That's a good fight.
Definitely, definitely a sick fight. But I have heard that I think Alex might be booked, but I'm not sure how. I
No.
don't. Nothing's confirmed though, so it still could happen. Still could
In
happen.
my heart, he's not.
Yeah.
In my fantasies, he's not.
Maybe he's booked against Cody. Who knows?
It's entirely possible. People
Plot
forget, man.
twist.
It's entirely possible.
I'm going to do two for this next one because one of them's already a confirmed fight. So I'm just going to mention
Please.
the one that's. So Daniel Santos versus Du Hu Choi is apparently confirmed for the Perth card. I've seen a bunch of reports about this. So I've put this one on there. Good fight, fun fight. Little Charles versus the Korean Superboy. Should be a fun fight. Then we got Stuart Nickel, and I put him against. I'm gonna have to look at this correctly. I don't want to mispronounce his name. Niam Jagal Terma Dembarel from Mongolia.
Nailed it.
I put that fight. Makes sense. Uh, you know, Jagal. I'm just gonna call him Niamum. Niamum. He's 0-1 in the UFC, I believe. Nichols 0-1 in the UFC. Both are, Stuart Nichols from Australia. Niam's from Mongolia, so it's not like a far travel to go. So yeah, would have made a lot of sense.
I'm glad that Stewie made it on one of our cards because I feel since his UFC debut we haven't heard a lot from Stewie. I don't know like
Yeah.
anything that's going on with him.
Yeah, same here. No, like he was booked against Ray Tazura for I think it was for the Drickus versus Strickland card.
Yes.
But then he just pulled out and then yeah, he's just been radio silent since then.
Even between his debut and that fight getting booked, we didn't hear a lot from him. And then yeah, I haven't heard anything like at all from him. So
Yes.
so I would like to see him get back in there.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think it's an approachable matchup as well. Both grapple heavy type of guys, both got sort of wild striking, not most technical on the feet. I think it would be a good fight. Plus they're flyweights, flyweights always deliver. So
they absolutely do. Moving up next for me, my third fight would be the captain, John O'Macalef, taking on Themba Gorimbo
nice.
in the UFC's welterweight division. Jono came in and in my opinion, made a big splash when he beat Kevin Jousset. I think that's a big W for him to start off his UFC career. He's been itching for a matchup. He's been training with Bobby Nux ahead
Yeah.
of Bobby's fight. He's going over to be in the corner or at least be out the back and hold pads or something.
Oh shit. I didn't
Yeah,
even know that.
he's like flying to Abu Dhabi right now, which is cool. It's cool to see that photo of Jono, Jimmy Crute, and Rob Whitaker. It's like Jono's the lightest guy in that photo. That is disgusting.
He's got to be the biggest welterweight. Like he would probably be bigger than Anthony Johnson if you were like when he was at welterweight at this point. He's fucking massive, dude.
Dude,
Like
it's so ridiculous.
and his reach as well. He's got like a 77-inch reach at welterweight. He's like 6'2". He's jacked. It's like a cheat code. The athleticism he's got is insane as well.
Jono coming in 1-0 with a decision win over Kevin Jousset. Uh Themba Gorimbo is 4-2 in the UFC. His last fight he lost in December to an anaconda choke to Vicente Luque, which is definitely not a bad loss.
Yeah,
Also, a win here for Jono mean he might become the Rock's friend, and I think that could be very useful for Jono.
exactly. Like
If
just to
you
be
beat
the Rock
Themba,
will
do
put
you
you
get
on.
to be the Rock's friend?
Exactly, like you'll get to be the Rock's friend, or the Rock will just mention his name. The Rock, at the very least, he can say to himself, "The Rock watched me bash his friend." That's
Exactly. The Rock was definitely watching, bro.
yeah, exactly. Like the Rock got this guy a fucking house, he can get me a fucking mansion, or he can at least get me a sponsorship. Like
The maybe Jono gets the win, and then on the post fight, he's like, "Do you smell what the captain is cooking, dude?" The full Jono heel turn.
that'd be perfect. To be honest, I'd love to see that actually.
As would I. As would I.
Moving on up, I've got Colby Thickness versus. I need to make sure I'm pronouncing these names properly. Quileng Aori. Mongolian, Chinese Mongolian, I believe he is. He's from Inner Mongolia in China. And the whole reason I've got this fight booked is, well, he's from China. That's literally the whole reason I've got this fight booked. Colby 0-1 in the UFC, had a tough debut against Paporia's big brother, so it's like no harm done there. But I just feel like Aori's a approachable matchup. He's from China. I don't know if he's fought in Australia in the UFC, but I think he's fought in Australia before. If I'm remembering the right guy, I think he might have fought Kai Kara France a couple of years ago. I might be misremembering the wrong Mongolian guy, but it's not far from him. It's not a far journey to take. So I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's a good matchup for Colby to get back into after fighting an absolute marauder in Alexandra Taporia.
An absolute marauder. Uh, as I mentioned when I did like the intro to this video, I gave you your flowers. I don't think I overhyped you, but I don't mean to put the Benny knows many things, and things he doesn't know, that's okay. It's not like against him. Uh, Colby posted a photo saying he's signed a contract to fight somebody. Is this? Do you know something? Is this like a tease of that, or do you no clue
Nah,
what
just
that's about?
I'm just speculating here, but I feel like it makes a lot of sense. I'm not. I wish I could tell you who Colby's fighting, but I really don't know, to be honest. Colby's very hard to get fight info from. I feel like he's him and Freestyle keep their fights under wrap very well. They're very good at making it.
Blink, blink twice if you're lying. Oh, the truth
Nah,
comes out.
I'm not sure. I am just guessing here, but it would make a lot of sense to me, in my opinion. I can't really think who would be willing to come to Perth in the bantamweight division, except for another person, but they are booked against another Aussie on here, so yeah,
Makes you think.
makes you think. But I didn't want to do Aussie versus Aussie for this fight. I don't think Colby versus Cody makes any sense, so I booked them against two different opponents.
Yeah, I think that's the play.
Yeah,
Moving up next, for me, we are now onto my fourth fight of the prelims. Uh, Quillen Salkilled taking on Jai Herbert.
nice.
Quillen Salkilled's a man who I think honestly he's developing some real star power in
Definitely.
the UFC. Sorry, continue.
I don't know. I was saying definitely, especially with the e-girl community, and like Quillen Southfield is going to be the next superstar because I've never seen a fighter who's able to both get the Pakistani fan base and the e-girl fan base both behind him in such a big way. He's really created this weird fan base of both e-girls, Aussies, Pakistanis, and even like the Palestinian fan base. Like he's really just built this big fan base, both from who he's fighting and his personality. He's really building a coalition of like the greatest fan base in MMA history, to be honest with you.
That photo of all the like the knights putting their swords in like at the round table, and it's like all the different people coming together.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's just building the weirdest coalition of fan base I've ever seen, but it's awesome.
Quillen, a guy who got that big KO in his UFC debut over Anshul Jubli. We knew how good of a striker Quillen is. He also, had some subs on the regional scene as well. But I really like his striking style. I think he did a good job showing off his wrestling in that last matchup. He showed that he can kind of deal with it, put the pressure on someone, also kind of defend takedowns. But that being said, uh, I booked this fight just because Jai Herbert has a lot of KOs. Quillen Salkilled, I like watching him punch people in the head. Uh, so that's why I would like to see that fight. It's just two guys who like to punch, and I like seeing that. And so ultimately, that was kind of the decision for me to book this fight. Was like they'll probably punch each other, and I like when they do that.
Me too. I am a big fan of people punching each other, so I
Yeah,
definitely
it's
definitely really
fun.
like it. Plus, if he goes out there and smokes Jai Herbert, he has bragging rights over Ilya, who Ilya got dropped by Jai Herbert. Let's not forget. People forget, man. Jai Herbert almost KO'd him with a head kick.
See, and then Quillen's next in line for the title, just like that.
Exactly. Yeah, just throw him right into it. Fuck it. 3-0 in the UFC. That's good enough. Give him the title shot. Do it in Perth. Perth in fucking October next year.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
October next year, have a three title fights: Perth, Quillen, Volk, JDM on the card.
Exactly.
Just do
Oh
it that
god, man.
easy.
Yeah, let's keep Ilya away from the fan favorite for a little bit though. I can't. I love Quillen, but I can't see that yet. We need Quillen to I mean, to be fair, Quillen's build probably would give Ilya some problems. He's a bit of a taller guy. Ilya has fallen to the head kick a couple times. Not been finished by it, but we just need
Until
Quillen to
Quillen
practice
steps
that.
in there.
Pardon?
Until my goat steps in there.
Exactly. He won't be able to take that Salkill shin. He won't be able to take that AFL shin.
No one can take that Sal. No one can take Sal killed fully.
Exactly. But moving on up, and I've got the UFC love to put this guy in the main card, but I've still got him on. This must be the prelims, yeah. Obviously, still the prelims. But I've got Justin Tuffer versus, and this is a guy his brother's knocked out, Sean Sharaf. I just like the idea of the Tuffer brothers sharing opponents. They fought a lot of the same guys. They both chinned a lot of the same guys before, and I like the idea of like brothers just beating on other guys. I feel like it brings families closer together. Next gather they can talk about who beat him up a bit harder. So I like Sean Sharaf versus Justin Taffer. I think it's a very good matchup for Justin, and they're both knockout artists. It's the type of heavyweight fight you want. You don't want Taffer against some wrestler who's going to go out there and try and wrestle fuck him. Justin Taffer's a guy who wants to bang. He wants to fucking bang, bro. So I think that's a good fight to go with. Justin Taffer versus Sean Sharaf.
Let me bang, bro.
Let me fucking bang, bro. Let me fucking bang, bro. I just want to bang. I'll let you bang, bro.
Dude, it's tougher gang averse. Okay, I've mentioned this every time I see the toughers or think about the toughers. I love the tougher attitude, like the tougher gang against everyone. It's against everyone. They've got this like hard ass, like badass persona. Junior giving that little kid his walkout jumper was like the cutest thing ever. And then they cut to the kid in the crowd and it's like he's swimming in it. That was like the cutest shit ever.
I know I said that. I was like, oh, man, why did he have to lose after that? Like, that's so sad. Like,
I know.
it was such a wholesome moment. And then he was doing so well in that fight, but he just gets taken down. And it's like, yeah, it's so sad, man. But yeah, Junior is, I don't know. I don't know what's next for Junior. I didn't put him on this card. Like, he didn't take any damage, but I'm not sure if he gets another fight in the UFC. I would imagine he does, but I think he's probably just going to go work on takedown defense and all that sort of jazz while he's out of the cage.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Yeah, like it's the UFC is in such a weird place right now where like, we mentioned the man before, Kevin Jusay. Kevin was 2-2 and they're like, bye. It's like a lot of the cuts don't make heaps of sense. I've also kept that in mind when doing this fantasy booking that like we're recording this and if all goes well, this will come out either tomorrow or the day after as of the recording. Um Between now and then people might get cut from the UFC. Like it's actually hard because you don't actually know what's like gonna happen.
Yeah, I know it's hard. But like I feel like Junior probably will get kept because he's in like a heavier weight class. But again, I just thought maybe he's probably gonna just do a bit of improvement for a couple of months. Probably don't think it's smart for him to just rush into another fight, with the few holes that people have seen in his game at the moment. But he'll be back 100%.
I concur. Moving next for me, up on the card, we were up to my fight five. Uh, I was looking at my bookings. This was one of the last fights I booked, and I was like, "We got a kind of a good representation across multiple weight classes here." Uh, that there was like a bit of a gap. There wasn't a lot of heavier guys, and my measurement of heavier is middleweight and up. It's like
Yeah,
welterweight guys are still kind of people, and then you see middleweights up, and you're like, oh, these are just like fridges. Like these aren't
yeah.
people. These are just like they live a completely different life to you. And so I snuck a middleweight in on here, a man who I feel is understated. But I had Jacob Malkoun taking on Andre Muniz.
Good
Jacob
fight.
Malkoun, a very understated man in the UFC's middleweight division, training with the likes of Robert Whitaker. He hit that very weird knockout.
Petrovsky.
Yeah, where he like hipped him to death.
Yeah,
That
he hipped him to death and then disappeared
yeah. He was he did he get booked between that? Yes, he got booked between then. He was meant
against
to fight.
Rodolfo Vieira. Yeah,
Yes, he was meant to fight in February and he got injured.
and Petrovsky took his place and ended up winning.
Exactly. I guess that is what happened with that fight. See, that's the other thing as well. You when you do stuff like this, you look back and you're like, oh yeah, this is what ended up happening
Yeah,
with all of this. But Jacob is coming off a second round KO victory from March 2024. Andre Muniz is coming off. He's coming off a loss from April 2025. And there's been a little bit of he had two cancelled bout with Ikram before that fight ended up happening. I just think it's cool to include some of the bigger boys on the card, and also he's the opponent's Brazilian. Brazilians like coming to Australia enough, so my logic was he'll probably show up.
no more of the women would come here. The moving on up on the card, we've just gonna skip through that real quick. But nah, I've got a man who actually did fight last week versus a man who's fighting this weekend. I've got Jimmy Crute versus Tuco Tokos on my card here. Feel like it makes a
Ooh,
lot.
I like that one.
Makes a lot of sense. He's fighting Marcin Prachnio. I think you'll get through Prachnio. Tokos is coming off a win. He's got some momentum now. He's fought a couple of Anzacs. You know, he went 1-1 against the Anzacs. Let's break the tiebreaker here. We'll get Jimmy Crew versus Tuko Tokos, and we'll see if he's got bragging rights over the Anzacs. And he's English. You know, the Poms love to come to Australia, especially Perth. I know he trains out of Florida, but fuck it, he's English. He'll love to come here.
Yeah,
So
he can come and visit the colonies.
exactly. So I reckon Jimmy Crew versus Tuko Tokos. Plus, they're both grapplers. So that either means we're going to get a back and forth
This
slugfest on the feet,
stand-up war.
or a stand-up war, yeah, or we get a grapple fest. So I feel like it's going to be entertaining either way, and I also think it's a pretty good matchup for one Jimmy Crude. So let's build that momentum back up.
Do you want to do some more of yours? Because I'm up to my last prelim. If we want to save our last prelims, our featured prelim bouts.
Okay, yeah, let's get it. Let's go. I've got a lot of prelims. I'll go through these a bit quicker then. I've got Jono Michaela versus Charles Radke. Obviously, last time Radke was in Australia, he called everybody a slur.
Dude, bring him back.
We're bringing him back and we're giving him against an Aussie because he shat on Australia a couple times since that fight. So let's get Jono Mikhailov in there to avenge Australia's honour. Then moving on, we got Jack Jenkins versus Bogdan Grad. Feel like that's a good fight. Bogdan Grad's fought Tom Nolan. Let's try and see if he can get another loss to an Aussie. I feel like it makes a lot of sense. Good fight, both strikers. Very good matchup for Jenkins. Bogdan Grad's a lot better than his performances. Probably like he's had some good performances, even though he's coming off a loss. Is probably the best way to refer to that. And then I got my prelim headliner, which is a banger, and he's from Perth. Cody Haddon versus Haley Alateng, another Mongolian slash Chinese Mongolian. I forget if I think he's from China, but he's Mongolian ancestry. Good fight. He's from China. It's not far to come from. And Cody Haddon deserves like a guy who's up the rankings a little bit, just outside the rankings. Haley Alateng. I feel like it's a good fight. Plus, I think Cody Haddon whoops him.
I uh I nearly booked Offley versus Bogdan Grad
Yeah.
because they're both coming off. They both lost to Muhammad Naimov, and so that when you said Bogdan Grad, I was like, I nearly put him on my fantasy booking. I do like that. I do like that. That's a very good matchup. Jenkins versus Bogdan is that's a good fight. And then for me, my prelim headliner is it was originally going to be Jack Jenkins versus Santos, Daniel Santos, because I was going to be like, he fought one of the Santoses, fight the other Santos, even though I don't think they're related.
They're not related whatsoever.
Yeah, I didn't think they were related at all. But I thought that would have been funny. But as we've mentioned, he is booked, and so I have changed it to Jack Jenkins versus Isaac Dalgarian.
Ooh, ooh.
Has been out since September, but he's coming off a win. Prior to that, he came off a split decision loss in March of 2024, and then he hasn't fought since September 2024. I don't know. I like that. He got a sub in his last fight. I feel like those two guys are very not super similar, but like Isaac's got 4 KOs, so he does have that striking ability that I like. I think Jack Jenkins does very well in the striking and then mixing it in with the grappling. Does Jack have any subs on his record? That's a good question. Let's
He
figure out
does.
the answer.
I think he subbed.
Yes, he got 3 sub wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jack's a guy who is very well rounded, but I think he said it himself where he's like, no one gives a shit about grappling.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna go out there and put on an entertaining fight, and I think that would be an entertaining fight. I would. That's why also I put it in that Jack Jenkins is a guy he's that last prelim, second last prelim type of guy.
The only thing is, Bulgarian is sort of like Armenian Habib.
Oh, that's so true.
He really goes out there, grapple, heavy, fucking shoots. He's like, no, not even Habib. He's more like Armenian Hamzat. That guy just shoots for the takedown so quickly. But if Jenkins can keep it standing, he will gas. That's the thing.
Yes. Shout out to Fight Wave, the Armenians.
Yeah. Shout out to the Armenians, you know. Shout out to the Kardashians too while we're at it.
Sure, why not?
I'm sure
Yeah.
that Kim K, big fan of Southern Cross Combat as well.
Who wouldn't be a big fan of Southern Cross Combat, especially when we're doing the Benny P collab?
exactly. And then
Shout
I'm
out to
sure,
the Jenners as well.
yeah, exactly. The Jenners, the Kardashians, shout them all out. I'm sure Kim K might even post this on her story. I'm sure.
All right, you want to move on to the opening bout of the main card.
Yes,
A
yes.
a guy who's been I've got a guy who's been looking to get on a card in Aussie. I did a post on the Instagram story the other day asking people to who do you want to see fight, and this guy's name got thrown out there a couple of times, couplers. Jamie Malarkey taking on Loic Radzibov.
Nice from Tajikistan.
Yes, from Tajikistan, the great Tajikistan, known
Yes.
for stuff. But I think that's a good fight. That's why I
Yeah.
book it. I only book good fights. I wouldn't book a bad one. What's the point of booking a bad one when you could only book good ones, which is what
And you
I
know
do.
what's crazy? We've both got Jamie Mullarkey for our first fight of the main card.
Cause that's he's a opening fight of the main card guy. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna put on a slugfest. You start the main card with a bang.
Yep, exactly. And this fight that I've got for my main card opener is absolutely a banger. But it's Aussie versus Aussie. I've got Jamie Mullarkey versus Tom Nolan to open up the main card.
No way.
I just couldn't
Why?
think. I just couldn't think who to book. There's too many lightweight fights on this card. I feel like that I've got because I've got after this one I've got one, two. Yeah, I've got two other lightweight fights, so that would have been four lightweight fights. Like we love the lightweight division. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't want to overdo it with too many lightweight fights. So I thought. Plus, I feel like if I wouldn't have done that, one of these guys misses out on the card. So it was more out of necessity. I don't really like Aussie versus Aussie, but it just made the most sense.
This is like the red pill, blue pill, like the which do you choose? It's like my card, no Aussies versus Aussies, but if you're not booked, you're just not booked. Like
Yeah.
I don't have Tom Nolan on the card. And it's
Oh
like
shit.
there's just no Tom Nolan or Aussie versus Aussie, but you get to see all the fight. Like everyone gets booked, but they have to fight each other, or
Yeah.
you just have to fight in Vegas instead. Those are your choices.
I
Now,
just felt like it's a very fun fight as well. Nolan versus Malaki, both bring it with the striking. Both, both have had some real banger fights. And, I feel like it just makes a lot of sense. But
dude, that's nuts. I did not see that coming at all.
but that's it. That's it for the Anzacs versus Anzacs, I believe. Yes, that is it for the Anzacs fighting each other.
Cool. Just two of your favorites have to go to war. That's it. That's
Exactly.
all.
Yeah, exactly. Two guys I really like. Unfortunately, that's just how the sport is. But I couldn't bring myself to do Nolan versus Salkild, so sorry, Malaki.
That's fair.
Sorry,
They
Jamie.
have trained together.
Yeah.
So this next one, for me, uh, there's the match. There's like I've done two opponents for this one person because one of them is the fight I really want to see, but either the lady is booked or she just fought. Yeah, she just fought in June. So I'm like, could she make a quick turnaround? Who knows? Uh, but I would like to see Casey O'Neill take on either Jessica Andrade, who that's my like, if we can't get this other chick, we'll put Jessica Andrade in there, or Wang Kong.
I knew it. I was waiting to say it. I knew Wang Kong was coming. Yes, I love Wang Kong. I'm a big Wang Kong enjoyer.
I'm a huge Wang Kong fan. She has a great style, puts on
The Joker.
yep, the Joker makeup. Like she puts on great fights and she does like the bit, which is very funny. Her last fight, she fought in Oz before, which is, the ultimate test against Bruna Brazil, who she wore a Batman mask, I think, ahead of that
Yeah,
fight.
that was pretty cool, another way.
So stuff like that is super cool. I love it. Um, I'm a big Wang Kong enjoyer as well. Uh, I'm choosing to call her Wang Kong or Kong Wang, not whatever they call her on commentary. Last time she fought, they were calling her like something else.
Yeah, that was weird. They were like, I can't remember. Yeah, it was something. It was not her name. It was.
Yeah, every time stuff like that happens, I do the like, maybe I'm the bigot. Like maybe I'm saying someone's name wrong. And I'm like, maybe I'm a monster. But I'm gonna say Wang Kong because that's how I choose to believe until she corrects me,
Yeah,
which she fucking might. I'm gonna call her that. But Casey O'Neill. She last fought in Oz. She had a win. Uh, I like watching Casey O'Neill fight. I think she's very entertaining. I think Kong Wang's very entertaining. Just put
Definitely.
them together. They're like right next to each other in the rankings too. I tried to do like a good amount of like ranked fights on the going forward on the prelim on the main card rather, and I think that's a good one.
Definitely. Yeah, I like Casey O'Neill. She did beat my Brazilian crusher last fight, though. So I was very annoyed at that. She beat up my fucking future wife, Liana Santos.
No.
But very impressive performance from Casey O'Neill, 100%. And I like Kong Wang, so I wouldn't mind seeing Kong Wang come to Perth. It would be a fun fight. It'd be a very fun fight. Kong Wang, great style. Casey O'Neill, great style. And I actually didn't put Casey O'Neill on my matchups here.
Oh, Benny P hates women.
I actually, yeah, I don't hate women, so I shouldn't have said yeah right after that. But
Clip it,
I didn't actually put any women fights on this card. I'm not gonna
cause
lie.
he hates them.
I've got moving on up though. I've got a guy who fought last weekend. So last weekend was like a lot of these guys ended up on this card. But I think this is a good fight, and it's against a guy I know will come to Perth. Because last time he was in Perth, he sort of slipped on a banana peel. I've got Jake Matthews versus Randy Brown.
Yeah, rude boy.
Rude Bow. I think it's a good fight. Both guys just outside the welterweight rankings. Both very close to getting a ranked opponent. You can't. I feel like it's just you give these guys enough fight against each other. Maybe the winner even just gets straight up ranked. Both are on good win streaks. Both having good performances. I thought Randy Brown beat Brian Battle as well, so you could argue he's on like a 6-fight winning streak since losing to the current welterweight champion. And it never gets old saying this: the current UFC welterweight champion, Jack Della Maddalena. Never gets old. Never
Never
gets
gets
old.
old.
But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's a fight I wanted to see for a while. Jake Matthews versus Randy Brown. Both veterans, really. They're both crafty vets, man. They're both people forget, man. Jake Matthews been in the UFC for like 10 years at this point. Something
Before he
like
was
that.
18 years old, he got signed to the UFC. 18 years old.
People forget, man. People talk about Raul Rosas this, Raul Rosas that, but Jake Matthews, man, he was a marauder. He came in at 19 years of age. He, I think he
19 years
triangled a
old and
guy.
you're fighting men. Just
Exactly.
men, dude. And he's just boy and he's just fighting men.
Exactly. And I think he's coming into his own. Jake Matthews had his easiest performance against one of his best opponents in Chitty, one of the best wins of his career, and it was one of his easiest performances.
I nearly booked this fight as well.
Yeah.
Jake Matthews versus Randy Brown is a banger of a fight. I think that's a very, 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 very good matchmaking by you. Uh, I did Jake Matthews versus Gliblet Burns because
Yeah.
we Gliblet has come to Perth before. He
That's
was in
true.
corner of Herbert, so I know he'll make the flight at least. Um, just purely because I did this because, as I said, I liked having ranked fights because I want to pretend that our event means something. And Jake called for it. I'd like to see it just because he called for it. But low key, Jake Matthews versus Randy Brown might actually be the better matchup, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. But we do need to get our boy ranked, We need to get Jake
We
Matthews.
do. He deserves it, bro. Why not?
We might get, imagine Jake Matthews goes on this Charles Oliveira type run and we get Matthews versus Della Maddalena in Perth. For the
No,
belt, though, for the belt.
no.
It'd be cool, though,
It would be
Well,
cool. We could do it in a sold out Marvel again.
so I've actually got a guy who recently did his first interview in a couple years, and he did it with Joel Rasselman from Southern Cross Combat. We've got Brad Riddell versus a guy who I know has been booked to fight in Australia, Nasrat Hakparast, who's on a bit of a run at the moment. He was booked here to fight against Jamie Mullarkey. Francisco Prado ended up taking his place. I think it makes sense. We know that Nasrat is willing to come and fight in Australia. And Brad Riddell, he's coming back. He was highly ranked before he took his hiatus. I feel like it makes a lot of sense. Plus, it's a striker. It's a very approachable matchup. It's a fun fight. And I want to see Brad Riddell against strikers, man. Let's not throw him right in there to a grappler.
Yeah, it kind of works in the time period that he said he was looking for. I can't remember. I did the interview with him. I wrote it down. But he was trying to get booked on that China card or that Shanghai card. If he doesn't get booked on that, it's not that much longer to wait. couple more
Yeah,
months, come back to Australia, which is basically New Zealand. So
yeah,
it's basically home. Uh,
exactly.
I would love to see Brad fight again. Moving on up for me. Moving on up. We've got Song Yadong, who I am a big fan of, taken on Mario Batista.
Ooh,
I think this would be a good matchup. It's not the matchup I originally wanted for Song Yadong in the due to our, as we've already touched on, the geography of us. You got to pick who you want and why they're on the card. Song Yadong or Yadong Song, depending. Rep in China. Of course, that makes it a lot of Chinese fighters will get booked on the a lot of Southeast Asian fighters get booked on the Australian cards. I like Yudong Song. I think he's very entertaining. I really like watching him fight. I think he's very good. Um, I personally, I would have liked the Piotr Jan rematch. Personally, is what I would have liked. But Piotr Jan is fighting Marcus McGee, who Piotr Jan's ranked 3 and Marcus McGee's ranked 13.
yeah,
I
great
was like,
matchmaking.
I was blown away. I was like, what is happening? Uh,
UFC's gone rogue. They're using.
actually,
They've got to be using AI to do their matchmaking lately. I swear to God.
when they should be using us, because look at these great
Exactly.
matchups that we're putting
Exactly.
together. But after his win over Pat, I think Mario Batista got a lot of hate for the Jose Aldo fight. Your decision on if it's justified or not. But his win over Patchy Mix was sick. I think he proved that he belongs in that rankings, and he earns breaking into the top 5 in my opinion. And I think against Yadong Song is that. And then on the flip side, a win here for Yadong Song, I think that catapults him up to like 2 or 3 in the world, and then you can just fight for a title. Once you're in the top 5, you can just kind of fight for a title whenever.
Definitely. I like that fight. That's a good fight. I wouldn't actually mind seeing that get booked. I wonder about Mario Batista just coming to Perth though. I wonder how he'd feel about the trip. Has he fought in Australia
He can
before?
fucking get over it, is what I say.
Based, based. Yeah,
Mario,
do what
get
you're
a,
fucking told, Mario
get
Batista.
on you'll dance, boy. You've got a date. And after your date, I'll see if you're worth anything. And then he starts lifting weights.
Oh my God. Oh, fucking hell, man. I like the story by the way with the taking inspiration from Connor.
Thank you. They didn't have any lighter weights. I wish they had 10-gram weights, dude. I couldn't do 1 kilo. I nearly ripped my cock off.
Was that your feature fight, by the way?
No, the next fight will be my feature fight.
Okay, so my feature fight's actually coming up now. And so I know maybe it doesn't make the most sense to have this guy as the feature fight just when it comes to how I've got all the other guys matched up, but I just thought it would make sense to have him as the feature fight because he is in Perth. He's from Perth. You sort of need a Perth guy high up the card. So I've got the feature fight. I've got Quillen Sao killed versus Rong Zhu for the feature fight. No Rong Zhu's willing to fight in Perth. He fought in Sydney, I think. Think it was in Sydney. Yeah, he fought against Cody Steele. So it makes sense. You know, it makes sense to put him on this card, put him in there against Quillen Sourkill. It's a good approachable matchup. It's a step up in competition at the same time. And we need our Perth boy high up in the card, in my opinion. You know, get the Perth card roaring because there's no JDM, and I doubt Earthseg's going to be able to make that quick turnaround. I want Earthseg on this card. I had a matchup for Earthseg, but I just thought realistically, Perez is a tough guy, so maybe it'd be a bit hard to come out of there with no bandages or not banged up or anything like that.
I also almost booked this fight. I also think this is a great fight.
Yeah.
That timing wise for me was a bit tight. Rongzhu booked for late August. And so
I
I was
Oh,
like,
he is booked, isn't he? Yeah,
yeah,
I know
Austin
he was.
Hubbard.
Yeah, I forgot. Fuck, I forgot about that. It's all right.
That's all right. He'll go out there and he'll one punch sleep the guy and then he can make the turnaround.
Exactly. Fuck, man. I remember there was like rumors he was going to fight Drew Dober, and I remember that fight didn't end up coming to fruition. So I forgot that he was booked against Hubbard. But you know what? You
That's
know,
okay. I
he's
picked Kong Wang, so it's fine.
yeah,
But yes, I that's also another great matchup. I nearly booked that. Anything that you book that I almost booked, I'm like, wow, great work there, Benny.
yeah.
Oh, we think so alike. That leads to my featured bout, the co-main event. And the logic I had with last fight and this fight is um an interview that the old boss man Dana White did in Sydney. I believe he did it with the premier, uh or the premier as we say, of Sydney, where he was talking about Australians don't just want to see Australians fight, they want to see the guys they see fight on TV. So as we get the third last fight and the featured bout, the co-main event, um I picked Joel Alvarez versus Mauricio Huffy. Banger fights.
Fuck.
Mauricio's been to Australia before. He was in the corner, or he was just hanging out around with the fight nerds gentlemen. I think that was for Perth. No, I think it was for Sydney. Because I've seen the fight nerds hanging out. The great I don't know what his last name is. That's Luke on Instagram. He's a photographer. He's got a good relationship with them. He's originally from Perth, so I know that connection there. I know they would come to Perth just to see Luke.
Shout
So,
out, that's Luke. Good
dude,
guy.
that's Luke on Instagram.
Good
Banging,
guy.
dude.
Good
I
dude.
little lore dump here about that's Luke. I met that's Luke. I should really find out what his last name is. Love that guy. Um, I just says Luke on his Instagram. Mystery man. I met him in UFC Sydney in the fighter hotel, and I was like, "So what are you here to do?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm gonna work it out." Like he just showed up and didn't have a plan and got picked up by some of the fighters to do their photos like on fight week, and that's led to him having this great relationship with the fighting nerds and all that. So I'm very
Even went
hey,
to even went to New York and took photos with Quillen, didn't he? Like they flew him out, didn't they?
yeah, so now he's got a great relationship with the Addict Sports people and with the fighting nerds. Epic go, that's Luke. I'm very proud of you, my friend.
Yeah,
So I know they would come back to Perth. I know
yeah.
they would come to Perth just to see him.
Just a
And
just quick thing about that's Luke. I remember the first time I talked to that's Luke. I tried to be a bit cheeky. Never spoken to him before, but I seen he was with Drickus Duplessis, and I was really trying to get the Drickus interview. So when I seen on his story he was with Drickus, I was like, "Hey, could you like give a word in for Drickus to answer my DMs, please?" But never ended up happening. But shout out, that's Luke. You know,
dude,
you gotta shoot the shots, and
you absolutely have to shoot your shot. Hoofy has 11 KOs. Joel Alvarez has 5 KOs and 17 subs. The classic grappler versus striker matchup. We all love that. Um, I think that's a banger fight.
there's just one problem, Joel.
What?
Alvarez is moving up to welterweight.
No! No! I had no clue. Fuck. Oh well.
Oh, fuck it. He can cut down again one more time.
One more round, baby. One more round.
Now that's a
Um,
banger fight though. I'd love to see that. I'd probably pick Yoel to win that, man. Yoel is so underrated. He's a beast.
what did so he's moving up to welterweight? Because I was gonna say he was booked against Benoit Saint Denis and then he pulled out. Is he just like he just can't make the weight anymore?
Yeah, he's. I think the weight cut's just too hard. I read that yeah, like all the Spanish outlets were saying that yeah, he's 100% going up to welterweight his next fight.
Pain. Oh well, one more round. One more, Yoel, you can do
But
it.
the thing is, he said he was going to fight Benoit Saint Denis and then move up anyway. So he was just going to go in there and kill Benoit Saint Denis, ruin another prospect at lightweight, and then just move up. Like, what the
Well,
fuck is
still do it then. Just do it one more time with Rufy.
exactly? Roofy's about to get roofied.
Correct, bro. The
There's some,
Hangover Part 4.
yeah, somebody better use that if they trash talk with a roofie. I swear to God, if nobody says about roofie's about to get roofied, I'm gonna be fucking livid.
Bro, that's your line, dude.
That if when I'm gonna message Ilya Taporia if that fight ever happens, you better use that fuck. You've chinned my boy Volk. You brutally chinned my boy Volk. You brutally chinned Charles
Lucky
Oliveira.
shot.
You brutally chinned Max Holloway. Can you, for the love of God, at least just use this line on
At
Roofy?
least be funny,
Exactly. I mean, it is pretty funny. The whole he said he's African like Francis Ngannou from the waist down. So
bro.
really,
And
has got.
we know how that went for Conor McGregor, so we could only imagine what's going on with Ilya Taporia.
I can't wait for Ilya Taporia to really show you the next Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor's using a fucking little weight. Fucking Ilya Taporia is going to be using dumbbells.
Pulling a truck.
Oh my God. So that was your fight. I got my co-main event here. I've got a fight that's been booked in Australia a couple of times, been booked a few times. Man just fought for the flyweight championship. I think this fight makes the most sense in the world. Kai Kara France versus one Manel Cape. There's beef there. And Manel Cape, another guy who used the slur. And so I'm just
We've
putting
got them both on the card again.
I've got Radke and Cape. This is not an LGBTQ friendly card for these
The
guys. This is not a good publicity card for the UFC. If these guys get the UFC are gonna rig these scorecards against Radke and Cape 100%. They're not gonna let these guys get a post fight interview. But I think it makes a lot of sense. Kai Kara France, coming off that loss to Pantoja, Cape needs one more win before a title shot. There's beef. Cape even went back and forth with Izzy at the press conference, so makes a lot of sense. It's a striker's delight as well. Both strikers, both heavy-handed. I like it. Beef. Whenever there's beef, you need to book it. It makes a fight feel bigger.
Absolutely, that is a banging match up there. I wasn't sure if I was going to include Kai, but he didn't take that much damage in the Pantoja fight. There is a turnaround there, and then if Cape wins that kind of puts him next in line for a belt at flyweight.
100%. I also feel like we have the same main event, Joel. I think
We might, and it's probably because I think it's the rumor that this will be the main event.
yes. Is your main event at light heavyweight?
Yes, my main event is at light heavyweight.
Okay.
Is your main event have a man who should be a model in it?
Yes.
Like we're playing Guess Who?
Yes, it does. It's got a man who should be a model, and then it's got another man who should have a fucking book written about his lifestyle.
Benny P, is your main event of UFC Fight Night Perth, Carlos Ulberg taking on
versus Yuri
Prohaska?
Yes. Yes.
We're not so different, you and I.
I'm surprised it took this long for us to have the same fight, but this is just the fight that makes the most sense, right?
We nearly did twice. It was just I changed some matchups. But yes, I mean, that's going to be the fight. Like, that's what the rumor is.
Yeah,
that's
what I've heard.
Be. Okay, not to be rude to Yuri, would I have preferred Ulberg versus Alex Pereira? Yes.
Yeah.
But Yuri's cool too. Yuri's come to Oz a few times. I've seen him around.
100%. Plus, Yuri's got an Australian manager as well who's from Perth. So, like, that just is another reason. He's been in Perth before. He was meant to fight Alex Pereira in Perth a couple of years ago for the title, but they ended up needing a short notice replacement because I think McGregor pulled out first Chandler. So
yeah, that was Alex versus
Yuri 2, I think.
Oh yeah, they just booked it earlier.
Yeah. Ended up booking it a month earlier. It was meant to be in Perth, but
yes, because Alex was down here at the time doing those seminars.
Yeah, which is a shame. It would have been cool to have that fight here, but fuck it.
Because we want to see international people.
Exactly. And the thing is with my co-main and my main event, no Aussies. There's no Aussies. It's Kiwis who technically, people say, well, Australia and New Zealand's the same, and I would say to them, people, go fuck yourself. We are not the same people. We're not the same people. But it's like saying Canadians and Australia. It's like saying Canadians and Americans are the same. Like, stop being so closed-minded. Just because we're close to each other, don't mean we're the same people.
So true, King.
So true. But so was your co-main event Yoel Alvarez versus?
Yeah, Rufy. I maybe misunderstood what featured bout meant.
Yeah. Feature is the third last fight.
Yeah, okay, that's my mistake. Song Yadong is my featured bout.
Okay, yeah.
And then Yoel Alvarez is my co-main, and then Ulberg versus Yuri in the main event. Former champion taking on Ulberg, who is this win puts him at the title.
100%. And you know what? If
so many wins.
Perfect world, you know what my main event would have been?
What?
Would have been Dan Hooker versus Rafael Fiziev.
I was thinking that Hooker versus Gaethje, but
that would. So when I was gonna do it, when I thought this was gonna be a pay-per-view, I had so many fucking crazy fights for this card. When this was gonna be a pay-per-view, I had JDM versus Islam main event. I had Volk versus Mobzar co-main event. I had feature fight Dan Hooker versus Max Holloway BMF title.
Yeah,
the 5-rounder. And then I had like all these other crazy fights that just would not be within the budget of a fight night. So,
yep.
Yeah.
We have been cursed with a fight night.
But if this was to be the fight night, if this is what the fight night turns out to be, it would not be half bad. This would actually be a very decent card.
If you don't say so yourself.
Yeah.
The matchmaker's done a great job matching this one.
Exactly.
Full credit to the boys.
give me and Joel like a fucking 10-figure job doing the UFC matchmaking. Let's
Correct. I'll travel around Australia with you, watch it, and talent scouting and booking
exactly. Let's just
matchups.
talent scout all the events, even the amateur events. We'll know who to keep our eye. We'll go full Aaron Pico. We'll sign him when they're 0-0. Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, exactly. We'll find the next Bo Nickel, sign him when he's 1-0.
Yeah, and then he just gets fucking absolutely fraud checked by someone who comes from like another promotion with a bunch of experience. But it'll be a cool hype train while it lasts, you know?
It will be. It absolutely will be. Uh, that brings us to the end of at least the booking aspect of this. Let us know what you think of the cards. Who did we miss out? I missed out a lot of people, but that's because you can't book everyone. Uh,
Unfortunately, yeah, we're not China wed. Like I've seen Chinese cards where they've had like 40 bouts, like actually 40 bouts on one card. Like, yeah, obviously we can't do that in the UFC, or the card would go for like 16 hours, unfortunately.
yeah, the UFC's not doing that. So we tried to be as realistic as we could. Who do you want to see on the card? Something interesting that I understand why, because you can't exactly predict it. Um, no one on our cards booked from the regional scene in terms of like Mangos, but Mangos is on contenders.
Yeah,
Uh, because you never know if that will actually happen. But I am interested to see if anyone from the regional scene gets maybe a late call up or something. I debated maybe putting someone on in the opening slot, but that's all circumstantial. You don't know. That's not like a we're gonna book you. That's like
yeah.
a fuck. We need someone in 2 weeks.
I would have put Darcy Vendi on here if I was to
Same.
put anyone straight from the
Vendi,
regionals.
yeah,
Vendi,
Vendi is who I would have as well. But I think the only way anyone from the regional scene's getting a direct call up is if it's short notice.
100%. Yeah, unfortunately. But I feel like they normally like to put a lot of debutantes on here, so it'll be interesting to see. Maybe not even from Australia. Maybe they'll put like some debutantes from like China, Brazil, or something like that on here because they always like to have people make their debuts on these like prelims of pay-per-views, especially people that
Yes.
see with star potential.
But Benny P, I thank you very much. As I mentioned at the top, people know who you are, but if you're watching this and you didn't know, Benny's channel is in the title of this, like it's atted, and also it's in the
Yeah,
link description and all that stuff, all that good stuff. Follow the YouTube and the Twitter and the Instagram while it's there.
yeah. While it's there, I've been going strong. I think I've had this one for about 5 months. I think my rivalry with Zuckerberg is over.
We're
He knows I'm
so
too
back.
powerful.
Correct. He knows he can't. You can't ban him. He just keeps popping back up. But Benny, thank you so much for the time. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. No, it was good. Thanks for having me, Joel. It was good. I've always wanted to say it's Benny P from Southern Cross Combat. You know, it's been a pleasure to be on this, and I look forward to having you on my channel, mate.